In this ever-changing world, our minds can become a constant battlefield of worries, fears, and negative thoughts. Many of us carry the burdens of regret, self-doubt, and resentment that silently drain our energy and obscure our natural state of peace. Buddhism teaches us that the mind, like a restless monkey, leaps from one thought to another, creating suffering when left untamed. But through the gentle art of mindfulness, compassion, and non-attachment, we can transform this restless mind into a serene, clear mirror reflecting true reality. In this video, we will explore the profound teachings of the Buddha on how to stop negative thinking and attain lasting peace. We will discuss how to recognize and release harmful thoughts, train ourselves daily, let go of comparisons and outdated self-labels, commit to gentle but decisive choices, protect our energy, and rebuild our identities with mindful actions. These teachings are not meant to be strict doctrines but gentle invitations to look within and rediscover our natural state of joy and balance. When we understand the true nature of our thoughts, we begin to see that they are not our enemies but passing clouds in the vast sky of our consciousness. By practicing these principles, we can experience deep inner peace, emotional clarity, and spiritual growth, regardless of our age or background. Whether you are searching for ways to be happy alone, to age with grace, or to find more meaning in daily life, these timeless teachings can illuminate your path. Let us walk together on this journey, step by step, gently guiding ourselves back to the present moment and discovering the boundless freedom that lives within. Let us now move gently into the first essential step on our journey toward lasting inner peace: how to recognize and release negative thoughts. In the teachings of the Buddha, understanding the nature of our thoughts is central to cultivating true freedom and a peaceful heart. Throughout our lives, we accumulate layers of mental habits that often express themselves as self-doubt, anxiety, regret, and endless comparison. These negative thoughts can cloud our minds like thick fog, preventing us from seeing the beauty and truth of the present moment. The Buddha likened the mind to a clear, calm lake that becomes disturbed when agitated by winds of thought and emotion. Through the practice of mindfulness, we learn to watch these thoughts arise and pass without grasping or pushing them away. By gently labeling each thought, saying silently, "This is fear, this is anger," or "This is sadness," we create a small but powerful distance between our true self and the thought. This awareness dissolves the thought's grip and helps us remain steady and compassionate toward ourselves. Returning to the breath is a sacred anchor, reminding us of the simplicity and peace found in each inhale and exhale. The Buddha taught the importance of non-attachment, encouraging us to understand that we are not our thoughts, rather, we are the spacious awareness observing them. As we practice, we see clearly that thoughts are impermanent, like clouds drifting across a vast sky, and they do not define our essence. Offering ourselves loving kindness is equally essential. We replace harsh self-judgment with gentle acceptance and understanding. Over time, this practice reveals patterns that cause suffering, allowing us to choose wiser responses and nurture peace within. Letting go does not mean ignoring or denying difficult emotions, it means allowing them to come and go without clinging. Gradually, our inner world becomes lighter, and moments of gratitude, contentment, and authentic joy arise more naturally. By consistently observing and releasing negative thoughts, we build resilience, emotional clarity, and spiritual growth. Each small effort strengthens our connection to true freedom and peace of mind. This gentle, compassionate approach is not a quick fix but a lifelong path of returning to the present moment and discovering the profound stillness within. Through patient practice, we find that even in moments of difficulty, a quiet, unshakable peace can be our refuge. By learning to recognize and release negative thoughts, we cultivate a heart of understanding and a mind of spacious awareness, opening the door to deep transformation and lasting joy. Now, let us move to the second key step on this path to lasting peace: the discipline of daily self-training. In Buddhist practice, self-training is not about strict control or forceful effort but about cultivating a gentle, steady devotion to mindfulness and spiritual growth. To illustrate this, let us consider a Zen story that beautifully captures the essence of consistent practice. Once, in a quiet mountain monastery, a young monk approached his master with frustration, saying, "Master, I have been practicing for many months, yet my mind is still full of restless thoughts. I feel I am failing." The wise master smiled softly and asked the young monk to fetch water from the river in a bamboo basket. Confused but obedient, the monk tried again and again, but by the time he reached the master, the water had always slipped through the basket's gaps. Finally, exhausted and disheartened, the monk returned with the empty basket and said, "Master, it is impossible. The basket cannot hold water." The master nodded and said gently, "Look closely at the basket." The young monk saw that though it could not hold water, the basket had become clean and bright from the repeated washing. The master explained, "So it is with your mind. Though you cannot catch every thought or force your mind to be still, your continuous effort cleanses and purifies you over time." This story teaches us that daily self-training is not about instant results but about gentle, persistent effort that gradually transforms us from within. In our daily lives, this discipline can begin with simple acts, setting a clear intention each morning, practicing mindful breathing, offering words of kindness, and reflecting honestly at the end of the day. The Buddha emphasized right effort, one aspect of the Noble Eightfold Path, encouraging us to prevent unwholesome states from arising, abandon those already arisen, and cultivate wholesome states diligently. Daily self-training also involves integrating mindfulness into everyday tasks, washing dishes, eating, walking, or listening deeply. Each small action becomes a moment to return to presence and align with our deepest values. Through these seemingly ordinary acts, we nurture seeds of patience, compassion, and non-attachment. When practiced with sincerity, each breath, each movement becomes a sacred expression of our commitment to inner peace and spiritual growth. The discipline of daily self-training invites us to embrace our imperfections with gentleness, knowing that every step on the path is valuable. We learn to release the pressure of perfection and instead focus on consistency, returning again and again to the present moment. Over time, these practices become second nature, creating a stable foundation for wisdom and compassion to flourish. The story of the bamboo basket reminds us that transformation happens subtly and gradually, even when we cannot see it immediately. By trusting this process, we cultivate resilience and a deeper faith in our own capacity for awakening. As we continue to train the mind daily, we find ourselves responding to challenges with greater calm and understanding. Our hearts become more open, our minds clearer, and our lives more harmonious. This ongoing self-training is a profound gift to ourselves and to the world, allowing us to embody Buddhist wisdom in each moment. Ultimately, the discipline of daily self-training leads us toward true freedom, where we can experience peace of mind, emotional clarity, and spiritual growth, no matter what arises in our lives. Now, let us move to the third essential step on our journey, letting go of comparison and old labels. In Buddhist practice, one of the most subtle yet powerful sources of suffering is the constant habit of comparing ourselves to others and clinging to outdated labels that define our identity. From an early age, many of us are taught to measure our worth against external standards, the achievements of others, physical appearance, social status, or even spiritual progress. The Buddha taught that each being has their own unique path, like lotus flowers blooming at different times and in different conditions. When we compare ourselves to others, we create unnecessary tension and feed feelings of inadequacy or superiority, both of which disturb our inner peace. Similarly, old labels, such as, "I am a failure," "I am too old," or "I am not good enough," act like heavy chains that prevent us from experiencing the freedom of the present moment. These labels are mental constructs, built from past experiences, societal expectations, and our own judgments. Buddhism encourages us to see these labels for what they are: impermanent, conditioned, and ultimately empty of inherent self. By recognizing their illusory nature, we open a doorway to deep healing and self-acceptance. Letting go of comparison involves shifting our focus inward, learning to honor our unique journey and celebrate small steps of growth rather than external milestones. It means embracing a mindset of beginner's mind, where each moment is fresh and full of potential, free from past limitations. Practicing mudita, or sympathetic joy, helps us to genuinely rejoice in the happiness and success of others without envy, expanding our capacity for love and connection. Releasing old labels requires courage and compassion toward ourselves. It involves gently questioning the stories we have been telling about who we are and allowing space for new, more authentic ways of being to emerge. As we soften these rigid identities, we begin to live with greater authenticity and joy, free from the burden of proving ourselves. The Buddha taught that all things are impermanent, and when we truly see this, we turn away from suffering and move toward peace. By letting go of comparison and labels, we cultivate a mind that is open, flexible, and resilient, able to embrace each experience with equanimity. This inner freedom supports our emotional clarity, spiritual growth, and overall peace of mind. As we continue this practice, we find that life becomes more spacious and harmonious, allowing us to appreciate our own journey with kindness and patience. Ultimately, letting go of comparison and old labels is a profound act of liberation, empowering us to live fully and authentically in each precious moment. Now, let us gently enter the fourth important step on this journey, choosing gentle, decisive commitment. In Buddhism, commitment is seen not as a rigid contract but as a living vow, renewed each moment with awareness and kindness. It is a quiet inner promise to walk the path of wisdom and compassion, no matter how many times we may stumble or fall. To illustrate this, let us consider a Zen story that captures the spirit of gentle, unwavering commitment. Long ago, a young seeker visited an old Zen master, asking for guidance on how to remain steady in practice despite constant distractions and doubts. The master invited the seeker to join him on a morning walk through the mountains. As they walked, the master carried a small lamp, its flame dancing gently in the early dawn breeze. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind blew out the flame. The young seeker became anxious and suggested turning back to relight it, but the master simply continued walking calmly through the darkness. After some time, they reached a small clearing where the first light of sunrise began to illuminate the path. The master turned and said, "True commitment is not about protecting a small flame from every breeze but about walking forward steadily, trusting that the sun will rise and light your way." This story reveals that commitment in practice is not about rigidly clinging to every method or fearing each setback but about continuing forward with patience and trust. Choosing gentle, decisive commitment means returning to our spiritual intentions each day, even when we feel we have lost our way. It is about prioritizing actions that align with our deepest values, kindness, non-attachment, mindfulness, and peace of mind, rather than being swayed by fleeting moods or external pressures. When we approach our commitments gently, we allow space for growth and transformation without harsh self-criticism. The Buddha taught the importance of wise intention, emphasizing that our intentions shape our actions and, ultimately, our lives. Each small decision to meditate, to speak kindly, to act with compassion, becomes a thread woven into the tapestry of our spiritual journey. In daily life, gentle commitment might mean choosing to take a mindful breath before responding in anger, dedicating a few minutes each morning to silent reflection, or offering genuine attention when listening to a loved one. These small, conscious acts build inner strength and deepen our connection to the present moment. By holding our commitments lightly yet firmly, we avoid the extremes of self-indulgence and self-punishment, embodying the middle way that the Buddha so beautifully taught. Over time, this steady, compassionate approach nurtures resilience and trust in our capacity for spiritual growth. We begin to see that commitment is not about perfection but about returning again and again, no matter how many times we stray. This ongoing recommitment plants seeds of joy, confidence, and clarity, allowing us to navigate life's uncertainties with a calm and open heart. Ultimately, choosing gentle, decisive commitment is an act of love for ourselves and for all beings, guiding us toward a life of authentic peace and deep inner freedom. Now, let us move mindfully into the fifth step on our journey, protecting your energy from draining influences. In the teachings of the Buddha, our mental and spiritual energy is viewed as precious, much like a delicate lotus flower that must be carefully nurtured to bloom fully. Many of us unknowingly allow external circumstances, negative people, and harmful habits to deplete our inner resources, leaving us feeling exhausted, scattered, and disconnected from peace. Protecting your energy begins with cultivating awareness of what nourishes you and what diminishes you. This includes becoming conscious of the media you consume, the conversations you engage in, and the environments you spend time in. The Buddha spoke often of right speech and right association, encouraging us to choose companions and situations that support our growth in wisdom, compassion, and inner peace. Surrounding ourselves with those who inspire kindness and understanding helps reinforce positive qualities in our own hearts. Similarly, limiting interactions with people who constantly criticize, complain, or spread negativity is an act of compassion for ourselves. By setting gentle but firm boundaries, we create a sacred space in which our inner peace can thrive. This does not mean closing our hearts to others or judging harshly, rather, it is about recognizing our responsibility to care for our own well-being so that we can be more present and loving in our relationships. In addition to external influences, we must also be vigilant about our internal dialogues. Harsh self-criticism and habitual worry can drain us even more than external negativity. By practicing loving-kindness meditation and mindful self-talk, we gradually transform these inner voices into sources of support rather than sabotage. Regular moments of solitude and silence also help restore our energy, allowing us to reconnect with the calm center within. Whether it is a few deep breaths, a quiet walk in nature, or a simple pause between activities, these practices ground us and replenish our spirit. Over time, as we learn to protect our energy, we become more resilient and less reactive to external disturbances. Our minds become steadier, our hearts more open, and our presence more authentic. By mindfully choosing what we allow into our mental and emotional space, we honor our own path and deepen our commitment to peace and spiritual growth. Protecting your energy is not an act of selfishness but of deep self-respect and wisdom, empowering us to live with clarity, compassion, and true freedom. Now, let us arrive gently at the sixth and final step on this path. Rebuilding your identity with mindful actions. In Buddhism, identity is seen as a fluid, ever-changing collection of thoughts, habits, and perceptions rather than a fixed or permanent self. Often, we hold tightly to old stories about who we think we are, stories shaped by past experiences, mistakes, societal expectations, and family narratives. These stories become walls that limit our potential and prevent us from embodying our true, peaceful nature. Rebuilding our identity does not mean discarding our past but transforming the way we relate to it, allowing our actions in the present moment to shape a more authentic and compassionate self. To illustrate this, let me share the story of Maria, a woman from Oregon. Maria spent most of her life working as a corporate executive, constantly striving to meet the expectations of her demanding job, her colleagues, and her family. She was admired for her achievements, but inside she felt empty, disconnected, and deeply uncertain about her purpose. After an unexpected health crisis forced her to take a leave of absence, Maria began to question the identity she had spent decades building. During her recovery, she attended a mindfulness retreat, where she encountered Buddhist teachings on impermanence and non-attachment. At first, she resisted the idea that her identity was not fixed, she felt lost without her titles and roles. But slowly, through daily meditation and mindful breathing, she began to understand that her worth did not depend on her job, her productivity, or the opinions of others. Inspired, she started volunteering at a local community garden, finding joy in simple tasks like planting vegetables and helping neighbors. Through these mindful actions, Maria discovered a new, more spacious sense of self that was rooted in kindness, presence, and genuine connection. She no longer introduced herself as an executive but as someone learning to live with gratitude and openness. Her relationships transformed, her health improved, and she felt a deep sense of peace that she had never known before. Maria's journey reminds us that each moment offers us the chance to reshape our identity through mindful, compassionate action. In our own lives, we can begin this process by paying close attention to the small choices we make every day, how we speak to ourselves, how we show up for others, and how we engage with the world around us. The Buddha emphasized that our actions, or karma, shape our present and future experience. By aligning our actions with values like generosity, patience, loving-kindness, and wisdom, we build an identity that supports our highest aspirations rather than limiting us to old, unhelpful patterns. Simple acts, such as offering a genuine smile, listening deeply to a friend, or preparing a meal with full presence, become powerful expressions of our evolving self. Rebuilding our identity through mindful actions is a lifelong practice of returning, again and again, to what truly matters. It invites us to let go of perfection and embrace authenticity, to release comparison and celebrate our unique journey. Over time, this practice cultivates a profound sense of inner peace and emotional clarity, allowing us to live in harmony with ourselves and others. As we continue to choose mindful actions, we dissolve the rigid labels of the past and create a life that reflects the spacious, compassionate awareness at the heart of Buddhist wisdom. Ultimately, rebuilding your identity in this way is an act of liberation and love, a gentle unfolding into your true nature, free from the constraints of old stories and open to the infinite possibilities of the present moment. Through mindful actions, we become the authors of a new, peaceful, and authentic chapter of our lives. Now, as we gently reach the conclusion of this journey together, it is important to pause and reflect deeply on the wisdom shared about transforming the mind and heart through mindful awareness and compassionate living. The Buddha's timeless teachings invite us to recognize that true peace does not come from external circumstances but begins within, through recognizing and releasing negative thoughts, committing daily to gentle self-training, letting go of comparison and old labels, choosing steady yet kind commitment, protecting our energy from draining influences, and rebuilding our identity with mindful, compassionate actions. These steps are not quick fixes or rigid rules, they are invitations to a lifelong practice of returning again and again to the present moment with kindness and clarity. When we practice this with patience and gentle perseverance, we cultivate a deep well of inner peace and spiritual growth that sustains us through life's inevitable challenges and joys alike. The path teaches us to awaken to freedom by letting go of what no longer serves and embracing the truth of our true nature beneath thoughts and stories. In this spacious presence, authentic happiness arises. Not dependent on conditions, but rooted in a calm, steady heart. As you continue on this path, remember that every moment offers an opportunity to practice mindfulness, non-attachment, and compassionate action, helping you live more fully as your authentic self. This journey is one of liberation, calling us to walk with gentle courage and open hearts toward lasting peace of mind. Before we part, I warmly invite you to become part of this growing community, where shared experiences and insights deepen our collective understanding and spiritual growth. Please share your own stories, reflections, or challenges related to overcoming negative thinking or nurturing mindfulness in your life. Your voice matters here, and your story, whether brief or profound, can inspire and comfort others who walk this mindful pathway alongside you. What practices have helped you find peace amid mental struggle? How have you gently recommitted to inner growth during difficult times? Are there particular teachings or moments that shifted your view of yourself or your life? By sharing in the comments below, you contribute to a supportive, compassionate circle where we uplift one another. Please take a moment now to reflect and express your thoughts below. If you found value in this video, consider subscribing to join us for more gentle guidance rooted in Buddhist wisdom, helping us all nurture peace of mind and spiritual growth together. Let us walk this path with kindness and understanding, supporting each other in mindful living and heartfelt awakening.